Okay, so when we're talking about mount or back, this is like the traditional back mount that we're talking about. I've got both hooks in and I've got the seatbelt position, okay? For me, if you're doing a points tournament, sure, you need these hooks in order to get your points. But for me, I like to have my feet on the hips, and I'll show that here in a second why. But for now, we're just gonna start with hooks in, seatbelt position, okay? One thing I wanna go over with you guys is the hand control. So this arm is over the shoulder. This is the choking arm, okay? The one under the arm is like the protector, I call it. That's kind of maintaining my seatbelt position. I want my hand covering my wrist here, okay? Some people will gable grip. 2 reasons why I don't like the gable grip. Because if we end up in a hand fight, which we will, okay, I have nothing protecting my choking arm, and there's extra arm length here, right? The more arm length there is, then the weaker it is, the harder it is for me to keep in tight to her, and the more space between our heads, then the easier it is for her to escape, okay? So I wanna make sure I have my hand over the choking arm, and I'm pulling her in tight to me. My head close to her head, just like Jamie was showing, okay? Chin on shoulder here. Now, this way, when we end up in that hand fight, and she starts fighting my hand, it's this top hand. It's the non-threatening. So keep going. So this one can just slide right up, okay? That's why I like that. So she goes hand fighting, this one can slide up, I can still start working those chokes, okay? So the first one we're gonna go over is just the rear naked choke, okay? Rear naked because I'm behind her, naked because it doesn't require the knee. That's where the knee comes from, okay? So right here, head in tight, she hand fights and gets that hand off. This one's gonna come up, okay? I'm grabbing her shoulder right now, okay? What I want, my elbow right now is slightly off the side, but what I want is right under the chin, okay? Because if you think about this V right here, then this is blocking one side of her carotid and this is blocking the other, okay? So a lot of times when we miss the rear naked or we struggle to finish it, is because that elbow is off center. I really want that elbow under her chin, and sometimes it's just a little tiny hip escape to the side to get that angle. I'm keeping my head in nice and tight the whole time so she can't move her head to escape, okay? I'm gonna grab my own bicep here and then bring this hand behind her head. Once my hand goes behind her head, I'm bringing my 2 elbows together, okay? So from the seatbelt, slide my hand up, cupping up on that shoulder. Keeping the head tight, I'm gonna grab my own bicep. This one, palm facing me, back of the hand against her head, pushing her head in and squeezing the elbows together, okay? We'll do a couple of different angles. Here, okay, push it up, grounding that shoulder, grab the bicep, back of the hand, the back of her head, and squeeze those elbows together. So, grabbing that shoulder, okay? My elbow's a little bit off. I'm gonna just hip escape a little bit to that side. I keep my head in tight. Grab my bicep, back of the hand to back of the head, and squeezing those elbows together. Any questions? This one's great because it doesn't matter if you're gi, no gi, self-defense. It doesn't require any lapels for the choke, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3. So, the big thing is that transition. If we need to do that little hip shift, that little tiny hip escape to the side to get that angle, okay? When I'm in here, I'm not making the hip shift just yet, all right? I'm already coming up and grabbing that shoulder. So I'm cupping her shoulder, so I'm pulling her to me, and my head is tight. So I'm using my head to push hers into her arm. Okay, I have her nice and tight here. It's gonna be really hard for her to escape. So don't worry about not having this hand. I'm gonna use this hand to plant it on the ground and shift my hips and get that angle, okay? She's in nice and tight. Now, if we're just trying to like start setting it and I'm in here kind of loose and my head's far away, then yeah, it's gonna be really easy for her to escape, okay? So make sure once they break that grip and I'm coming up and I'm grabbing that shoulder, I'm cupping that shoulder and I'm pulling her into me. I'm using my head to push into that arm. So now I have a nice tight control on her. I don't want any space. Now I can shift here, Grab that bicep, hand behind, and I'm bringing my elbows together like I'm flexing my biceps, okay? One thing for you guys to work on is sometimes you'll have somebody that's really good at defending, really good at shrugging, okay? This is where I like my feet on the hips, okay? So what I'll do from there is I put my feet on the hips and I extend. So I'm like leg pressing. I'm gonna stretch her out and that's gonna open up that neck, okay? This is why I like to just have my feet on the hip already, and I don't really worry too much about this unless I'm worried about points, because it's such a faster finish. It takes so much less energy. I like everything that requires the least amount of energy, the least amount of strength, okay? So I'm in here, I cup that shoulder, my head's in tight. Now I'm gonna grab my bicep, hand behind the head. She's defending well, whatever I can't finish, feet to the hips, and extend. Okay? So go ahead and keep practicing it. Think about those little details. I think that was the biggest thing I was seeing people have issues with, is that transition with the hip shift. We gotta make sure we have our partner in nice and tight and secure. We don't wanna give them any space to escape as we plant and shift, okay? I'm holding her in nice and tight. I have her very well secured at that point, okay? And then if for some reason you have somebody that's just great, they're defending the arms well, they have a really nice shrug, shoulders to ears, I'm just gonna stretch them out and open that neck up, okay? So any questions other than that?
Can you explain what you mean by bringing your elbows? Like what are you doing with your elbows?
Oh, so when I have it here, right, see how my elbows are apart? I'm gonna be bringing my elbows together in the front. So essentially I'm like flexing my biceps, it's bringing my shoulders rounding in, and I'm bringing my elbows together in the front. So bringing them closer, okay? Just here. Because what will happen a lot, people are in here and they just start squeezing, right? And then I'm just on her trachea, you know? That's not what I want. I'm wanting a blood choke. So what I want to do is make that space in this V as small as possible. So as I bring my elbows together, see how that space shrinks? That's what I want. That's going to cut off the blood flow on both sides. So I'm just bringing both elbows together in the